right? So I'm going to try putting it in the denominator. So now if I have hours in the numerator here, and I've got hours in the denominator over here, these will cancel out, okay? And now I was able to cancel out the units that I don't want, step 2. So now step 3, it says write the units you do want, all right? Now, remember, we said we want to convert this to minutes. So the units I do want are minutes. Let me rewrite that. All right, so the units I do want are minutes, all right? So now I've got hours canceled out. Minutes is the only unit left, which is the unit I want. So now that's good. Step number 4 says write the ratio and multiply. So what is the ratio of minutes to hours? All right. Now, in order to get this, just think a little bit. Don't overthink the situation. But how does hours relate to minutes? Okay. How many minutes are in an hour? How many hours are in a minute? Right? It makes more sense to think how many minutes are in an hour because we know an hour is larger than a minute. Okay. So 1 hour is going to equal how many minutes? 60 minutes is the answer. All right, so we write 60 down, and now we can multiply straight across. So we've got 1.34 in the numerator. Remember, hours is already canceled out, so we don't have to rewrite that. So we got 1.34 in the numerator times 60 minutes in the numerator. All right, and there's nothing in the denominator over here, so that means it's like an imaginary 1. So 1 in the denominator times 1 in the denominator equals 1. Okay, and anything divided by 1 is just going to be whatever was in the numerator. So 1.34 times 60 minutes. Okay, and that equals, let's pull out our calculator, 1.34 times 60. So 80.4 minutes is the final answer. All right. So 1.34 hours is equal to 80.4 minutes. All right. So great work on that problem. We're going to do one more problem where we're actually working with a more complex unit. Okay. So let me go ahead and erase this. All right, so for this next one, let's do the first one on the unit conversion problem set. So it says convert 3,350 meters per hour to kilometers per minute. All right. So the reason I say this one is slightly more complex is because instead of changing just 1 unit, we've got to change 2 units. We need to change meters to kilometers and hours to minutes. Okay. So let's go ahead and start this one. All right. So in order to change meters to kilometers and hours to minutes, we're going to first of all start with step number 1. Okay. Now, in essence, we're going to have to do steps 1, 2, and 3 2 times. Okay. We're going to have to go through it 1 time for the numerator to change that. And then we're going to have to go through it 1 more time for the denominator to change that. Okay, so first time around, let's write our number, 3,350 meters per hour. Okay, and we're going to multiply by a fraction. Okay, so that's step 1. Step 2 says cancel out the units you don't want. So we could start with the numerator or the denominator. It doesn't really matter. Let's just start with the numerator to be consistent. All right. So when we start with the numerator, we want to get rid of meters and we want to turn it into kilometers. So what units do we not want anymore? Just focusing on the numerator right now. So if we look at our numerator, we don't want meters in the numerator anymore. So currently meters is in the numerator. So in order to cancel meters out, where should we put it in our fraction? Okay. Now I'm just going to jump ahead to the answer. If you need further explanation of this, go back to earlier in this tutorial so you can understand why we put meters in the denominator and not in the numerator for a deeper explanation of it. But in short, meters cancels out when it's in opposite positions. All units cancel out when